Hi there, welcome back to another week of Counter-Strike game and skin market update. This is Skinomics2, and this video covers the 15th to 21st of September 2025. We start with the usual Armory Pass update. The character craft stickers, graphic design collection, and the gallery case are still yet to be removed. It is unknown at this time when their removal would be, and the in-game store still states it is the last chance to redeem. As expected, the prices have crashed compared to the initial knee-jerk reaction following the announcement last week. Despite this, all three of these soon-to-be removed items remain very profitable to redeem. Onto the Austin sticker capsules. Somehow, the team stickers are still profitable to unbox, more than 1 month since the 75% off sale began on the 15th of August. The most profitable is, as expected, still the contender team stickers, which contains both Chinese teams Tyloo and Lim Vision. The same surprise for profitability extends towards the souvenir packages, whereby 9 are still above 100% ROI. The highlight charms remain quite unique, as they are still one of the only 3 ways to obtain charms at all, in addition to the 2 Armory Pass collections. Moving into the headlines of this week. A new update brought on the ability to see teammates' entire loadout upon death by pressing F. This raises the desire for players to have a skin for every item within the loadout, which will no doubt increase market activity. Initially, I was worried this had removed the ability to inspect souvenir charms in-game, as that had also used F, but worry not, as pressing G will bring up the highlight as per before. Now, onto the biggest headline of the week, and that is the new Genesis terminal also introduced as part of the update on the 17th. The terminals act as a new form of cases, which removes gambling in the traditional sense. However, they have proven to be very unpopular with the community, and their prices have plummeted from the high of over $40 to less than $8. Granted, the unpopularity is not due to the skins being unpopular. In fact, the pinks and reds from the collection are quite good looking in my opinion, with my favourite from the collection being the Smoking Kills MP7 skin. Rather, the unpopularity is attributable to how the terminal functions. Upon opening or unsealing the terminal, the player is offered skins to be purchased one after another, up to a maximum of 5 offers. The player can only see the next offer if they had rejected the previous. Most blue and purple graded skins are reasonably priced as shown on screen. However, pink and red skins are not, especially if they are stattrak. In addition to the removal of luck involved, people dislike the change, as skins become much less of a free market item with this change. In addition, an extreme example floating around the internet comes in the form of the M4 Full Throttle, costing $1,600 in stattrak factory new condition. Keep in mind this is Steam balance as well. Typically no one holds this much Steam balance on a regular basis, with the cap being $3,000. If you pay for the transaction with direct cash deposits, you are already losing out, as Steam balance is a 10 to 20% discount to cash in terms of market value. At the moment, there are also confusion as to how prices are calculated. A 00 factory new oligarch is shown to cost $370, whilst a .02 factory new costs $300. There are various examples of people showcasing exact skins costing differently depending on time. A theory proposed by Brongo is that prices may depend on demand and will fluctuate dynamically. If true, then eventually, the blue skins will become worth it to unbox, as their low price will mean trade-up contracts become feasible. Another question right now is the odds of a red skin. Previous skin collections did not contain stattrak, and map collections have had a much lower chance at a red item. I will update this as more data becomes available, hopefully within a couple of weeks. One more interesting feature of this new Genesis collection is that items purchased by players will have an original owner certificate. This is an additional way of Valve encouraging players to spend money, which I personally see as quite greedy. To finish on this update, the Genesis collection has replaced the fracture case as part of the active drop pool, resulting in the fracture case increasing in price dramatically. It may be the case that all cases going forward will be replaced by this type of terminals. Moving on, the crashes from last week continue. Most of the pump and dump schemes from earlier in the month have reached the dumping phase. Latecomers have been severely punished, as I have warned. Using the financial graph I used last week, we appear to be in the phase circled in green. Although with the case of Counter-Strike skins, I doubt we will ever return to the original state. My theory is best showcased by rare skins such as the Hot Rod jumping up to the second biggest market capitalization this week. Items like these may not sustain the pumped up valuations, but they are unlikely to ever return to their cheaper pricing before, given their limited quantity. The pumping schemes have actually become a price discovery journey for some of these items. Next, I want to bring your attention to some bot trading websites acting in a questionable manner. Multiple traders have complained on social media about sites reversing trades in relation to Stockholm stickers, whose prices have fluctuated wildly. This is quite unethical if true, as I would assume a contract is established at the time of the trade. Sites such as the channel data partner iTrade.gg prevent users from trading these volatile items in the first place, which I find to be a much better approach, as it does not violate any contracts. Disclaimer to note here is that this video is not sponsored, and I am not accusing anyone of anything. Regardless of all the drama, the overall market has reached a new record high this week above $5.5 billion. This is in line with the stock market this week following the US rate cuts. Speaking of the US, Gabe, the founder of Valve, has been summoned to the House of Representatives for a hearing set on the 8th of October. This will likely be mostly unrelated to Counter-Strike. Lastly for the week, Flamus, a player for Virtus Pro, has accidentally returned skins he had borrowed to an impersonating account. At the time of the video, the account in question has already been banned, although it is unclear whether Flamus will be able to get his skins back. Flamus has committed to pay back the owner at all costs. The skins in question contain a pair of minimal wear Pandoras and a butterfly black pearl. It has a market value of about $40,000. Finally, let's move on to our weekly craft idea. I have an expensive craft which can be applied to the house skin this week. Start with 3 notepads from back to front, then layer a dystopian gaze over the top at the eye of the dragon. Lastly, place the liquid fire as the dragon's breath. The total cost of the craft is about $82, which although is expensive, is quite affordable for most people which own a howl. Switching gears to market analysis. The Skinomics 2 index, which contains a list of items I use to represent the market, increased by another 3.12% this week. This marks the 6th week of growth in a row. The market setback in July is truly behind us. The eSport Fire Index, which contains a list of 300 high-value liquid items, showcased a similar story, despite a small dip on the 16th as a result of the pump and dumps. Moving on to the buff value of trade and trade volume data sourced from the cheap instant skin trading site iTrade.gg. Market activity has remained high since last week. Total trade and volume data from SteamDT amplifies this trend, as we have seen multiple days of above 3 million trades within a single day this week. Now, let's break the skin market movements this week down into categories. Starting off with knives and gloves, most items have had comfortable gains within the past week. The same cannot be said for higher tiered weapon skins, where a slight drop has been recorded for most items, highlighting the Cyrix dropping by 10%. Agents did well. In fact, they have been the best performing category this week, with Ricksaw gaining well above 20%. Last but not least, the affordable weapon segment saw some gains as well, which represent a healthy market from the bottom up. Moving on, according to CS2 case tracker, case unboxing numbers trended lower in the week, although this may be due to the website not classifying the most recent Genesis terminal as a case. Player numbers slightly increased since last week. Non-active case prices declined overall, despite the bettering player count, as the focus has been on the newer collections. Active cases, however, did not share a similar sentiment. The 2 oldest cases apart from the fracture case increased significantly, as they will be the next in line in the event of another replacement in the active drop pool. I will be replacing the fracture case here once data from the Genesis terminal is ready. Let's now take a glimpse at this week's biggest winners and losers. In winners, the crazy foil and the in living color appears to be pumps without much fundamental reasons behind their increases, whereas the attack vector is from the soon to be discontinued graphics collection. In losers, the top 2 are the most famous of the dumps headlining the Counter-Strike news, whereas the Saber agent is correcting itself from a gain too large. Onto the top trades of the week, also sourced from the skin trading site iTrade.gg. Buff's top trades were quite diverse this week. A tier 3 case hardened AK topped the list, selling for $31,000, as it had 4 Titan holos applied. The second place is a factory new Wild Lotus, whilst the third place saw a tier 1 blue gem Karambit. On CS Float, the top place was an Emerald Karambit, whereas the second and third places were factory new Wild Lotuses as per usual. Moving into game news, there were 3 updates this week, starting with the big update on the 17th. Grenade sounds were updated. In addition, the update enabled panning and zooming whilst inspecting skins, which will allow for more details to be examined. This will increase demand for more flawless skins. Moreover, the update enabled new types of interactions with maps that has granted for the chess map to be created. This is a good showcase for potential interactive maps in the future. The other 2 updates on the 18th and 19th did not bring too much excitement. However, it has been reported that strafing and spraying was broken after these updates, which caused many professionals to be outraged. Now onto the pro scene. Furia took home the second season of the Fissure Playground against Mongols in a 5-game thriller. The rookie Molode took home the MVP of the event, and is likely to win Rookie of the Year with the way he is progressing. The updated Budapest major qualification spots that are set to be locked in on the 6th of October saw quite a few changes. In Europe, Heroic, BB, and Fnatic has been replaced by Liquid, B8, and Saw. Over in the Americas, 9Z has lost their spot for the moment to Passion UA. Whilst in Asia, Rare Atom makes it so that 3 Chinese teams will be attending rather than 3 Mongolian teams. Moving on, in other pro scene news, Twistzz will apparently replace Rain at FaZe as Rain looks to retire and focus on family life. Falcons has formed a junior team called the Falcon Force. Godsend has declared bankruptcy. And lastly, Chills, a blockchain firm, has acquired 51% of OG. I am still open to skin donations, and a reminder to join my Discord. Please like, share and subscribe. On that bombshell, that was all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!